Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L here to do my formal review for episode 16 and 17 of My Hero Academia anime. Hey everyone, so I'm slowly getting back into things, hopefully we'll get more videos this week, but hey, so, Hero Academia. Now, just gonna let you know very quickly, usually I don't care about filler episodes. I did think episode 16 was actually quite nice for entertainment value, and I thought it was a very pretty episode. I mean, I have many things to say about episode 16, but at the same time it's filler, so it's like, it's not really worth talking about because it has no real bearing on the future of My Hero Academia as a story. But we can talk about it because there's like some meta analysis that we can do about it. So with that out of the way, I have many talking points that I definitely want to get to. So let's just very quickly just talk episode 16's recap. Well, you know episode 16, it's pretty much the story of how Ochako had her day in the spotlight. Actually, not really Ochako. It's something they did do nicely with just balancing it out throughout the main four of Ryukyu's team. I think that was really nice. And Selkie as well also got quite a bit, but Selkie is pretty much the anime's darling. I mean, this is their filler character. And I say their filler character not because it's like they made him up. We don't know that. It's just like this is the guy that they work with. This is the guy that they brought into life. I mean, Horikoshi does feature him in the manga, but this Selkie is synonymous with the studio at this point. And that's why he's probably in this filler episode. Anyway, that's that. We have the whole situation with Trigger, which I absolutely adored. And we just see the whole story of how these people go and deal with the Trigger thing. And then we have a very quick promo for the movie at the end, or a very quick tie-in. Little details spread out through there. Now for episode 17, this is like the actual important episode. In episode 17, we see Endeavor. We see the workload and the value of rest in one of the first scenes where Endeavor's talking about like, yeah, we're going to have to start early tomorrow. I'm going to keep working. You guys just take it easy, because Endeavor's aware of burnout. We have Fuyumi being the most adorable thing in the world throughout the episode. We have Endeavor's dream of the kids and being around the table and him not being there, which is set up for later. We have the recap of all the horrible things that Endeavor did, and then we have the Endeavor and Fuyumi scene where they're talking about what Shoto and his mom have been doing. We have all the flashbacks, and God, there were too many flashbacks. Like, usually I'm very kind about the flashbacks because I understand what's going on, but this time around, we had so many different flashbacks. It is ridiculous. Like, that on top of everything else just kind of makes it a little bit unbearable. But this time around, the flashbacks, I'm pretty sure if I go into the manga, I'm not going to see that many flashbacks. Yeah, no, man, it was way too much. It ate up way too much screen time in, like, just looking at the entire episode. We then see the kids, and we find out about the lodgings. We know that the kids are sleeping at the Endeavor compound, which is important to keep in mind when you have episode 16. We see the scuff marks on the kids, and for the scuff marks, you know, when I first saw the kids coming out of the lodgings, I thought like this is not how it looked in the manga, because in the manga you could see they looked pretty bad, but when you see them coming out, it's like they're perfectly clean. And then you have the zoom in, and the zoom in says like, oh no, look, they're super dirty. I want to talk about this one just because this is an issue with animation. I imagine that it would have been more work to show the kids with the damage from afar. I assume that is why you have one shot where Bakugo looks pristine and the other shot where everything looks scuffed up, right? In a manga, you don't have to draw it for that long. You can just draw it once and you have it there. You can like move through the scenes. So I understand, but this just does kind of remind you that they are kind of cutting corners, and the flashbacks are really the example of it. The amount of flashbacks is what should tell you they're cutting corners. Anyway, after that, we have more of the tragedy montage, just showing us how dangerous Hero Academia world is in general. We have more shots of the kids trying to keep up. We then go into the Fuyumi scene at the home, where we see more very adorable Fuyumi. They are having dinner. That was a really wonderful little thing. We're told that the housekeeper retired. Now, I'm only bringing that up because like there's a lot of things going on with the Endeavor family, and you never really know what's the important detail. So anything they say, like, keep it in mind. We then have Natsu versus Endeavor tension. We have more Endeavor drama. We have Bakugo calling everyone out, telling them, hey, you probably shouldn't be talking about this when you have people around, which is very true, but shonen. We then see Toya's picture, and all I can say is like, thank goodness that the anime finally corrected his hair color. It is supposed to be white. Thankfully, they're finally on the same page as the author on this one. We see Toya. So that's pretty cool. And we see Ending getting out, which I will eviscerate at the end as well. So, overall, you know, for episodes 16 and 17, there are so many things to talk about. So where do I begin when it comes to talking about this episode? Well, I think the easiest thing to do would be to first just put it out in the open that the anime doesn't care about My Hero Academia. The anime doesn't get My Hero Academia. The anime is pretty stupid. The anime studio is, by extension, pretty stupid. And what I mean by that is, the anime has shown time and time again that when it ultimately comes to doing their own little thing and adding on the material, because the anime does do this sometimes, it shows you that they don't really know what they're doing. And, you know, this might also be just a side effect of maybe being overworked, because that actually makes a lot more sense. But to just give you the I could go into episode 16 and I could eviscerate episode 16 on multiple points. I could eviscerate it to a degree that the manga is just, it's impossible to eviscerate the manga to the similar degree. I could do that. I could really rip it apart. Because episode 16, and this is funny because over the last week, you know, I do live streams and we talk, just a lot of Hero Academia fans talking in that live stream, and they were showing me videos of what people were thinking about the adaptation. And Chibi Reviews had a comment about the adaptation saying that episode 16 was pretty much the reason why the current adaptation is the way it is, that being that it was a promo episode for the movie. And you know, I don't prescribe to that idea, but episode 16, when you look at episode 16, it's more for money than it is to acknowledge any kind of spirit of My Hero Academia. But I'm not going to eviscerate episode 16 as much as I could because that's too easy. The anime doesn't know what they're doing. There's multiple instances in the filler episodes where you can tell they don't know what they're doing because they repeat dialogue, and whenever they add new dialogue, it's nonsensical. Because to their credit also, they can't shake the boat too much. But to give you the example, to just talk about how much the anime botches Hero Academia, because Hero Academia as a manga, it's very tight. The author is very self-aware. Alright, it's very hard to bring up points of technicality when it comes to the manga. Now, when it comes to the anime, just really the sequence with ending says it all. In what world do you release a person who has history with Endeavor in his full villainous bodysuit? In what, and I'm going to assume this is a bodysuit because there's no way this guy actually just looks like this, right? But my point is, look at the way they released this man. That is a villainous bodysuit. They release him just like that, and then you look in the preview, and the guy, and also they released him with his villainous paraphernalia, that being the bandages on his face. You go into the preview, and you see this man in full villainous attire. Who knows if he's even taken a shower? He's just out there, like, he's just out there creeping on Endeavor and holding Not 2 hostage. And the big thing here is just honestly, in what world does a jail or a prison let out a man in his villainous attire? Like, what are you doing? Come on, that was so stupid. It's like, you let him out, and then you're going to be surprised when 2 days later, or a few days later, he attacks a guy he has history with, or he attacks the #1 hero. That's ridiculous. That was stupid. What kind of world is this? No, man, like, I see this. I see a man being released in the uniform that symbolizes his wrongdoing. I see him being released in that uniform, and all I can think is, they can't be this stupid. But, like, honestly, it's the anime. Like, the anime probably just wanted to do a little thing. Like, if you think about it from the perspective of an anime, this is where story versus logistics comes in. If they only show ending, and they chose to show ending early. If they show ending, they have to make sure the viewer knows who ending is. So they have to put him in his full-on villainous bodysuit. But it compromises the integrity of the intelligence of the world of Hero Academia. Because if this same thing had occurred in the manga, if Horikoshi had gone through the process of drawing him early, a few days earlier, he wouldn't have shown him like this. He would have done something smarter, like just show the eye or something like that. And this is ultimately the difference between the anime and the manga. Horikoshi's smarter. That's just flat, like the flat matter. If he had done this scene himself, it would not have come out the way the anime did it. And you know, I guess just to go to episode 16. I really like talking about Ochako, and episode 16 is the thing that really tells me, yeah, you know, Ochako, unfortunately, she gets botched by everyone around her who controls how she's depicted in media. I think Horikoshi botches her, and probably is going to botch her a few more times in the future, and I think the anime ultimately botches her. Like, episode 16 is ultimately about this. This is what episode 16 is about. This is all just fan service. And I think it's funny that in a super serious situation, when you have Izuku and them, those guys have, let's say, like, they've been with Endeavor for 2 episodes. I think it's a little bit more than 2 episodes. But we haven't seen Izuku and them get a break. The first break we see Izuku and them get, it's a family dinner that Fuyumi had to twist Endeavor's arm to get them to go to. Before that, we see these people putting in the work. We have a montage of just tragedy coming out. And then on Ochako's side, it's like, oh, not 1, not 2, but 3 gigantic breaks. While the rest of the world is burning relative to Endeavor, where this man can't even sit in his office for more than an hour. A bunch of people are wasting time on a beach. And the anime even has the goal to have Izuku set it up with him saying, oh, I really hope they're working hard. And then it's like, oh no, they're just at a party. And, you know, on one side, I'm like, oh, this is really cute. I really want to see more of this. I think the kids deserve to be kids. But on the other hand, it's like, way to make Ochako seem like a joke. If this was canon, this would just be horrific ammunition to say this girl, what is she doing? Or what is their side doing? Is Ryukyu even worthwhile as a hero? No wonder Endeavor's overworked. Ryukyu has the time to go on a vacation, and mind you, you can play the game like, oh, but you know, it's just, it's the logistics of the situation. They can do nothing but wait. They have to wait around. In the time that this woman's gone to wait around, who knows how many disasters have occurred given how busy Endeavor is. Nah, man. I can't stress this enough that if the anime was to actually depict things with the seriousness that is befitting the situation, this is just so hard to explain because, like, there's so many different angles to this. But ultimately, you had Izuku setting up that he is working so hard. You see Izuku only really get 1 break. These kids are beat up. Episode 17 is about showing how much work those kids are putting in. Imagine having the time to be able to sit around eating when Endeavor's side of town is quite literally burning. Right? It's just, it ultimately tells you how these people view that, yeah, the boys are all about the seriousness stuff. Yeah, there's like a war going on in the background, but yeah, man, we're gonna 100%, yeah, like, they're gonna just do things the way they're always gonna do it. They're just gonna be fooling around, lollygagging, while Endeavor and the boys are going from place to place. Suyu and them get to hang out on a beach. There's just no words to describe how hilarious this is in context. And again, I actually really enjoyed seeing the playfulness. You know what? This might be a bigger thing. Maybe it's an atmosphere thing. In a situation where you have so much darkness surrounding Hero Academia society, to think that you could depict the girls just fooling around. Ultimately, if you were to take this as canon, it just puts you in a spot where you're going to be thinking, yeah, while Izuku and them were actually putting in the work, what did Ochako and them learn? Nothing significantly of value. Well, that's too mean. They probably learned something, but you get it, right? Like, in terms of what the anime is leaving you with, it's just so jarring. And again, as a viewer, I think I really enjoy seeing the slice of life, but not now. I think that's the bigger thing, not now. But this is all about the anime, right? Like, the anime knows what they're doing. When you have episode 16 isn't there to respect the context of the story. It's there to entertain. It's there to have girls in bathing suits. That's what it's for. It's a beach episode. And, you know, just to, like, continue ragging on episode 16, because that's fun. I did find it hilarious how Ochako was like, yo, I can't lift this airplane. And then Ryukyu's like, are you gonna give up? And I'm just thinking like, okay, I get it, right? But if that was me, I would also tell Ryukyu, well, Ryukyu, did you give up? Why aren't you going faster? Why did you give up being slower than a plane? You're a freaking dragon. You can somehow whip up tornadoes from your wings, and you're not going faster? Like, what are you talking about, Ryukyu? Why aren't you going? Like, use those little tornadoes and boost yourself, bro. No, it's ridiculous. Like, this is like where again, filler just can't be taken seriously. It's ridiculous. In the same way that she could criticize Ochako for giving up, Ryukyu could be criticized for giving up and not going faster. 100%. Same criticism can be lobbed both ways, especially when one of them can actually whip up tornadoes from her wings. Although, like, if we talk about now implications, I went and I looked up the weight of planes, and for that, well, I looked up a very light plane. I looked up a plane that's smaller than the one that the episode depicted, and this is like just where filler can start messing things up for people that don't know it's filler. The smallest version of the plane that I went and I looked up is 5,000 pounds. The anime just said that Ochako can deal with 5,000 pounds to a degree. I can't wait to see the day that the author has to contradict that with her barely being able to lift something up. It's going to happen. It always does. But it's just, this is where like the filler could really trip someone up here. Anyway, that entire segment was just really there to say that, yeah, no, like when it comes down to it, the anime doesn't really care about the spirit of Hero Academia. No. The anime cares about a product. And I think that's important to keep in mind. And this brings me back to the idea about Chibi Reviews saying that the entire, I think this is what he said, but apologies if I'm wrong, that the season was compromised because of the promotion episode for the movie. Personally, I don't think that's the case. Because like I feel like this is the amount of things that they're switching up. I think at the end of the day, the studio has to be thinking that they're still going to make money, right? I personally don't think that I don't think they moved this. I don't think they moved around the season to fit in a single 5-minute segment. I don't think they did that. But if you ask me, like, do I think that they moved this around because they thought they could still make money? I would say yeah. I would 100% say yeah. Like, I think that I think the anime ultimately is doing things that they think is still going to net them a profit. And episode 16 is really the big example of, yeah, we don't really care about the context. We don't really care about the atmosphere of anything. We're just going to do this because we're pretty sure we're still going to make money. That's ultimate. I think at the end of the day, when you consider everything's a business, like if you think to yourself that everything's going to come back to making money, I think you're going to end up being more right than you are wrong. Now, going to episode 17, because that was all just meta talk. When it comes to episode 17, what did I really enjoy? Well, I really enjoy just all the depictions of how busy Endeavor is. Because whenever you see all those depictions, it makes everyone else look pretty lame. Like when you see Endeavor going everywhere, like the man barely stops one crime, and then all of a sudden another crime's happening in another quadrant of the area. And then you see Ryukyu just hanging out on a beach. You know, it's like, yeah, Endeavor deserves to be the #1 hero. This man is working so hard. And I do think I enjoyed the nuance that came in with him telling the boys, like, make sure you take a break, because we're going to have to be back at it. Like, you want to tell me that the heroes are overworked? You don't show me the example of Ochako that the anime presented. You show me the example of Endeavor, and I'll 100% believe you. This is how... this is how good heroes get made. I think everyone could have stood to go with Endeavor. But no, I really enjoyed that. And we can't overlook how adorable Fuyumi is. Fuyumi had a great time. Like, she's trying to do her best. Fuyumi, in this episode, she brought in that extra little bit of nuance where she has complicated feelings about Endeavor. She even has that segment where she said, I get how Naoto feels. Sometimes I feel like that too. But she's trying her best. And I think that's pretty much the theme when it comes to the Todoroki family. And especially if you look at this episode, Fuyumi's trying her best, Endeavor's trying his best, and Shoto's trying his best, as Izuku tells us. Izuku tells us that Shoto's very kind and he's getting ready to be able to forgive Endeavor. So that's all very nice and adorable stuff, and I think it's thematically consistent, and you have Endeavor with his dream, and that sets up something for later. I think that was really cool. Overall, too, like, this is just an episode for episode 17. It's an episode that makes you come out of it thinking like, yeah, you know, these people are trying their best in every way. Like Endeavor's trying to do his best, burning the midnight oil. The kids are doing their best trying to keep up with Endeavor, and Endeavor's family is doing their best to try and, you know, make peace with what happened. Not forget what happened. There's nothing about forgetting. It's about trying to make peace and being able to move forward with Endeavor. I think that's overall the theme of the episode. Are there any other points to call out here? Well, we have Toya. We saw Toya. We're slowly and surely getting closer to that mystery. I already covered Endeavor's just the way he treats his work, which I thought was just very impressive. Like again, Endeavor a very good example. There aren't really other spots here that are worth talking about. Although I can say like the flashbacks, I think this week was just really horrendous with it. Oh, Bakugo. Bakugo is the other one. Bakugo had some really good moments. It's like actually really adorable how much he liked the food. And it's also cool how he calls people out for like Bakugo actually has some pretty good social sense when it comes to having dinner. Like it'd be nice if he didn't yell at everyone. But I think he was very right to keep your baggage in your closet until your people move away or, you know, leave the area. Oh, you know what? Episode 16 also confirmed that one of these girls is Ryukyu's sidekick. I didn't know that. But it's really good. This is one of those things where the author doesn't really tell you about the sidekicks. So it leaves us to speculate and assume that they're sidekicks. And it's just like, this would have been a great moment to give us a name for these two characters in the anime. Oh, speaking of that, Trigger in episode 16 also was very appreciated. Trigger first appeared in Vigilantes, and I feel it's the first time they used Trigger for the drug. Regardless, very nice to see it. I thought it was really cool to get the background on Trigger because Trigger has been in the Hero Academia universe for a very long time. Anyway, overall, guys, episode 16, I think entertaining. I thought it was pretty, but man, does it show a lot of the problems with the commercialization of Hero Academia. And episode 17 went and just showed us how crappy everything is, that these people have to be so busy. And then it also showed us like just the tenseness of the situation with the Shoto household. Yeah, what a wonderful pair of episodes. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.